we have come to question of the day. What is our question of the day today?
It's a really good question, Lyle, and you might have a little bit of a challenge answering this one, I dare say. Okay, so...
Sounds like fun.
Our listener sent this in yesterday. In Genesis, right, did God create the entire universe or just our Earth?
Okay, so let's read what the Bible says, and we're actually going to read this from Exodus rather than from Genesis. So let's go to Exodus. This is probably the clearest statement that you will find in relationship to this. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 11, where the Bible says, "For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day, wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it," or made it holy. So the Bible very, very clearly says that in 6 days God did a number of things. He made the earth, he made the heavens, and he made everything that lives within it. So does that then leave any space for the stars, the universe, to have existed prior to this particular occasion? And the answer to that is yes, and you might wonder how. You know, the Bible speaks about the heavens being created here in 6 days, and so we would assume then that God lived in the ether, or whatever it was before that. He lived in nothingness for eternity previous to that. No. That's completely illogical. It makes no sense whatsoever at all. It's completely against the character of God, who is creative by nature. Okay, so if we go back to the Genesis account and we read what it says here in the Genesis account of creation, so we'll put that in context right there. And while we're turning there, let me mention this. The Bible speaks about 3 heavens. The Bible speaks about the birds of the heavens. Now, when the Bible speaks about, the birds of the heavens, it's speaking about the atmosphere. The Bible speaks about the starry heavens. When the Bible speaks about the starry heavens, it's speaking about the universe. And the Bible speaks about paradise, where God lives and where holy beings live. When the Bible speaks about paradise, where God lives and holy beings live, that is heaven. Where God lives, that is paradise. So 3 heavens, and Paul talks in vision about how he was caught up and saw the 3rd heaven. In other words, he actually saw paradise where God lives. Okay, so when the Bible says that in 6 days, God created the heavens and the earth and everything in it, then that can refer to the earth and its atmosphere. In, of course, Genesis chapter 1, you'll find that within this 6-day period, God created the sun and the moon as well. So we're assuming that our solar system, at the very least, maybe our galaxy, I don't know, but our solar system at the very least was created within this 6-day period. However, to assume that the rest of the universe did not exist and God existed in a great nothingness previous to that, in my opinion, and I understand that there are others out there who, and I respectfully acknowledge that there are others who have other opinions to that, in my opinion, is taking it too far. But when you actually read the Genesis account, the Bible says, that God created all of these things, and created man in his own image. He blessed them and told them to be fruitful, and that when he created these things, that he created the stars also. I find it very significant when it says he created the stars also. Because when it says he created the stars also, that's sort of like adding on something else. So he's created, in 6 days, God did this, this, and this. And just in case you're wondering where the stars came from, they were God's creation as well. And so the indication there is that the universe existed previous to this particular point. Let me show you something from Isaiah. There's a bunch of verses here we could look at. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 12. Isaiah 12 coming up. This is speaking about Lucifer. It goes back and it talks about the time period before our universe existed. Sorry, not Isaiah 12, Isaiah 14, verse 12. How are you fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How are you cut down to the ground, who, past tense, weakened the nations? This is before sin enters our world. This is before the creation of our world. For you have said in your heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. This is, once again, this is before the creation of our world. And what you find here is that heaven exists, nations exist, angels exist, God exists. All of this exists long before our world was created. And so we know that there was more to the universe that existed before our world was created. Did God create just the sun, moon, and our earth? Did he just create the solar system? Did he just create the Milky Way? Did he create everything that we can see on that during that 6-day period? How much of it did he create? I don't know. But I do know that there was a lot of universe existing prior to that 6-day period in which he created our earth.
Wow, thank you so much, Pastor Lyle. If you have a question, give us a call here. 1-800-FAITH-FM is our number. We love answering questions. We, of course, will use that for question of the day. Give us a call. Fire away.